In this next session, we're going to bring some experts from different departments within Trainual to talk to you about how they have went about building their playbooks. So I will call up Tara and Hannah and Sarah. Let's give them a warm round of applause. People doubting me, but just wait and see. Can't count all the ways up and down. All right. Well, first up, you heard earlier Sasha talking about the 5-star rating on Glassdoor, and you actually heard Tara's name dropped in there a few times. She is responsible for onboarding all new employees. So the first person you meet on day one is Tara, and usually for the first couple of weeks, she is guiding you through that experience, and it has been so pivotal in making us the company we are today. So I will first have Tara Montoya talk about how we onboard people as our senior people operations manager. Yeah, there we go. Come on up, Tara.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Thanks, Adam, for the warm welcome. As he mentioned, my name is Tara Montoya. I am the Senior People Operations Manager at Trainual. I always tell everyone I have the best job in the world, and I do. So I'll fight anyone in the audience if they think otherwise. As we're going through this, you're going to hear some of the same things that Sasha talked about. And the reason being is because onboarding is super important in the employee journey. And so some of this stuff we're just going to double tap on. Okay? So, according to SHRM, did you know that an effective onboarding can improve employee retention by 52%? 52% is incredible. And how do we do that here? So I'm going to dive into our internal process a little bit. You heard from Chris earlier that we have a new feature called a flow chart, and this is the process for how we onboard new employees. As you're looking at this, it can seem like it's a little bit overwhelming. There's lots of moving pieces, there's lots of moving parts here, but what I like to concentrate on when I'm creating a process or documenting it is ensuring that we have the key stakeholders identified. We want those people that are part of our process to easily look at it and know, hey, there I am in the process, and this is the part that I play. So I have color-coded my process here so that someone can quickly look at it and they can know exactly what parts of the process they take part in. During onboarding, consistency is everything. We want everyone to be ramped up quickly, and we want them to all have the same opportunities. By creating a consistent onboarding process, it allows us to ensure they're all getting the same experience. And of course, when we have something documented, it's easy to change it, to fix it, to ensure that the next time we have onboarding is even better. I'd say that's one thing that we do really well here is we're continually improving all of our processes, and having it documented lets us do that. Another really cool thing about flowcharts is maybe I've never done onboarding before. I could go to this flowchart, I could look at it, I could see this is exactly what I need to do, and you can link to other content. So here's an example. In this bubble here, you'll see that I have some Trainual content linked. I can click on that. It can take me right to the subject that tells me how to kick off onboarding. So as you can see, maybe I'm out, my friend Marlo, who you heard about earlier, who's our hiring manager, she could jump in here quickly and just kick off onboarding. So that's a little bit about my internal process. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about how we set those new hires up for success. So first it comes down to communication. My main focus with a new hire is to ensure that I'm removing any first day jitters that they have so that when they come to the office on day one, they feel really good about their decision to join our team. One of the ways we do this is through the communication. Sasha mentioned earlier that Marlo, the new hire, and I, we get on a call. This Zoom call is super important. It really sets the stage for what they're going to experience during onboarding. We make it super fun. We ask crazy questions like, what is going to be your last meal you would ever have, or what's your favorite color, what do you do for fun on the weekends, all those kind of questions. It really removes some of those barriers and starts to build those connections quickly. We also go over the schedule, and then of course we leave room for Q&A. Another thing I like to do is send a detailed email to our new hires before they start. This email will set them up for success on day one. It also links to important content that's within our Trainual account. Things like Where to find the office? This is one of the most important questions that comes up, right? We want to have some information in there for them that they can quickly look at here. They can see a map. They can see what the office looks like. There's even space in here that tells them where to park, and we have an interactive map in there. And then our office manager, Ariana, has taken it a step further, and she's added videos that walks them through the whole scenario of parking and getting to the office. So this eliminates any questions that they have and really sets them up for success. Okay, I know you all saw the schedule, right? We like to create a very detailed schedule for a few reasons. Number one, the pace at Trainual is very fast. We want those new hires to understand how quick they're going to be working, what it's going to be like when they're actually fully ramped up, and so we start this day one. I have heard from so many new hires that when they have a schedule like this and they know it's expected, it really helps eliminate some of those first day jitters. Another thing I'd like to tap on here is it's so important to have that presentation time so you can create those connections, but then following it up with content that reinforces those ideas, really makes sure that they're getting those key things that you're talking about during those presentations. And then, of course, I'd like to have time for them to meet with people because connections are super important, and time for them to do their to-do checklists. Now, you heard earlier from Chris that we launched Training Pass this summer. This has been such a great thing for us with onboarding because it helps us ensure that our new hires are getting the right content at the right time. As you can imagine, there's so many things to learn when you start a new job or you're joining a new company that if you get all the information at once, it's really hard to retain it. And so we want to make sure that we're able to shuffle the information and get them the things that will get them to value as quick as possible. So I'm going to take you behind the scenes a little bit and show you what some of these things look like. One thing that we do that I think is really special and unique is when someone's going through the hiring process, we give them access to a Trainual account. We want to ensure that when they decide to join our team, they know it's the right choice for them. It's very similar to dating, right? You want both parties to be excited about the opportunity, and we really want them to understand exactly what it is that they're joining when they join Trainual. So we give them access to a subject that dives into things like who is our leadership team. They get videos from Chris, our CMO, or CEO, and Jonathan, our CMO, and other people on our leadership team. They also can dive into the benefits to make sure that that's a great choice for them and their families. We talk about affinity groups and clubs. Again, we're driving that connection, but we also want to ensure that they're making the right choice when they join our team. It's also kind of nice that they're in there because then they can easily access other subjects as they move along the employee journey. Okay, we hit the pre-start a little bit earlier when I showed you that it included information on where to find the office, but we also have things in there like I-9 documentation. We have a documentation policy around I-9. We want to make sure that, again, they're set up for success day one, and so we're having all of that information in that subject that's really important. Here's a little bit more about week one. We dive into our core values, our culture, our mission, all those really important things that make us who we are. Okay, the org chart. I love the org chart, and especially in a hybrid work environment, it's super important that people are able to put a name to the face quickly. Even as you're thinking through your business, people are out in the field, they're maybe not seeing people all the time, but knowing who they can connect with and seeing those faces quickly helps them have those connections fast. Okay, the magic. So every time there's a great experience, there usually is some kind of element of magic to it. All those times that you remember something, it's usually because it's something unique that stands out to you. And I think that with onboarding, there's always opportunities to create excellent magic, and here's how we do it. Number one, you heard a little bit about our survey. We have that pre-hire new start survey that they fill out that tells us everything about them. It tells us things about their dietary restrictions. It sounds a little boring, right? But it is what it is. And then their favorite color maybe, their favorite TV shows, all those things, and we use them throughout the onboarding to create an exceptional experience. We even cater in their favorite lunches, and we make sure that those lunches include folks on their team that they need to ramp up to know quickly, and even leader lunches that we include. And then the stakeholder one-on-ones that you heard Sasha talk about, these are so important. It can be super intimidating for a new hire to try and reach out to someone to create these connections. And honestly, sometimes you just don't know who you're supposed to connect with. So I like to ensure that these are all scheduled out for them. And we want them to meet people that are going to bring them to value the quickest. We don't want them to waste their time. So those one-on-ones are super important. And then we also provide them with a to-do list. This to-do list is customized to their specific role. So we give everyone the same kind of to-do items for week 1 and week 2, and then we really get very specific on those role-specific things that they need to do so that they know exactly what is expected of them. So to wrap this up, the onboarding must-haves, number 1, it's all about connections. We want to ensure people know that they've made the right choice in joining our team, and we want them to feel connected. We also want to ensure that we're providing the right content at the right time. We want people to ramp up quickly, and providing them those pieces when they need them will help facilitate that. It's all about communication when you're trying to eliminate first-day jitters, and it's about the communication internally to ensure people are set up for success. And then finally, make sure you customize. Customization makes people feel like they belong and that they feel connected. So back to you, Adam.
Great. Thanks so much. It's funny, as she was talking, I went back to my first day. I was thinking about it, and I remember Tara walking me over the table and making sure I knew exactly where the vegetarian plate was. I'm a vegetarian. I just thought that was like cool and totally. Usually I'm like pulling the ham off of the like sandwich and making it vegetarian, but it was really thoughtful, and the magic really came to life there. So thanks so much. One other thing for this session, time permitting, we're going to have some live Q&A. This might be our only live Q&A session. So as you're hearing things, write down questions, and hopefully we'll have some to ask the ladies here at the end. Hey, great. Next up is Sarah Beach, our Director of Sales, a dear friend of mine and my counterpart on customer experience and sales. Sarah has been with us for 6 years, one of the OGs of Trainual, and started as our sole sales rep, and has at every stage of the process developed a new and better sales machine that we have created, and now runs the whole department. And so such a cool success story for Sarah. And it's really been her commitment to organizing that chaos and documentation and communication that has helped bring, the success of her team to life. And so she's going to come up and talk to you a little bit about training and scaling and operation. Sarah.
Hi, everyone. It is truly an honor to be in front of all of you today. And it has been the most rewarding chapter in my career of growing the sales team over the past 6 years into 16 beautiful humans. Before we get started, I wanted to ask you just a quick question, just to think about. How long does it take for your sales reps to be onboarded, trained, and to close their first deal? Here at Trainual, we onboard our sales team members in 2 weeks. By week 3, they're selling. And by week 4 is the expectation that they close their first deal. Over the next couple slides, I'm going to talk through some foundational elements that have helped guide me in growing this team and helping to grow this team into what it is today. Point number 1. Sink or swim is BS. This is all too familiar within sales organizations, and it doesn't have to be that way. Point number 2, organize your system, set up chaos. Don't do this manually with them. Allow Trainual to help automate this process and empower them to set this up on their own. Point number 3 is automate your training or drown. So by creating a foundation of your training and allowing this to automate and setting the expectations with your team members and allowing them to be a part of that process really lays the groundwork in order for it to scale. And number 4, embrace the pivots because they never end. So Sasha talked a little bit about 30, 60, 90s, how we do this here at Trainual, and I wanted to show you just a little bit about how we do it here in sales. So obviously we don't have a ton of projects, but we have different months and different areas of how we want to make sure that people get set up for success. So the first thing I want to call out is obviously they're fully completed in their Trainual content. And we want to make sure that they're a part of that process to call out any inefficiencies within the training content that they have. And so they feel like they can be a part of that journey. Obviously, they want to close their first deal. They can do it. A lot of other people before them have. Month 2 and month 3, you start thinking about metrics, KPIs, and being intentional about those that are clear, to the point, very easy for them to achieve, where they don't think about this mountainous effort for them to get there and potentially sink in their role. And obviously, you want to make sure once they're onboarded that you put it inside Trainual so it's clear across the organization of what their role, what their responsibility is in order for them to do that. Next, your system setup organization. This does not have to be chaos, but in sales, you obviously have specific key components and how you leverage these systems. So if you have a CRM, you have some project management systems, you have a certain way of how they manage their inbox, have Trainual do this for them, but walk them through it in a very methodical and thoughtful way. Don't take it from me, take it from somebody like Erica, who just onboarded 2 weeks ago, and she was so excited and so empowered about going through this content. So, what does this training content look like? This is the master subject that I live and breathe by. It's called our sales general processes. And within our sales general processes, I wanted to look and give you guys a little bit of insight in what it looks like to actually set up something like HubSpot, right? It's a big system. There's specific key components on what they have to do in order to get set up for success. Because if they're not, the data is not giving you the insights that you need to make those changes within the organization. So you can see in just some small steps, to-dos, how-tos, however you want to call them, step-by-step organization pieces to allow them and empower them to go through that training content, get set up on all their notifications. It's not taking manual time away from your managers. It's not taking my time. They're not asking questions, but they're so excited about going through this. She literally sent this impromptu feedback, just feeling so empowered and feeling so excited that she was getting organized along the way. Next up, you kind of get into a lot of the training and automation, right? So you're building a foundation. Over the past 6 years, our training content wasn't what it is today, and it's something that I continue to build and iterate on. But by utilizing Training Pass, just like Tara had talked about, is making sure that they don't feel like they're drinking through the fire hose. So you can lock that training content, they take it in order, they feel confident in what they're going through, and it's relevant to the pace that they're in within their onboarding experience. So again, 2 weeks to onboard, 3 weeks to start selling, 4 weeks, they close their first deal. Your policies within your organization are very different than how your sales team or other departments actually operate. So when you get questions like this, I'm working a lead, can I work it? I don't know. You can be confident that you have your rules of engagement documented inside Trainual. And if it's something that's not documented, it gives you an opportunity to take a second guess and take a second look into that training content to see, is there a new process that you have to create for your team to create more alignment and to create more cohesion around people understanding what that role and responsibility is. Okay, sales pipelines. Everybody has them. Everybody has different stages within their sales pipelines, but it's critical to show them how it works, how it was developed. And then you get into why it works the way it does and why we set up our deal stages, why we set up our deal sources, how our deal automation actually works. By empowering your team, they're giving the information that they're armed and they're able to be successful in what you've done. So at that point, you've created the buy-in within your team and they feel organized, they feel empowered, they feel so excited. But at the end of the day, you're getting the data that you need in order for the team members to be successful because your team changes and data informs changes. And when you start thinking about changes, you start thinking about pivoting. So at the end of the month, the end of quarter, or Hannah's gonna talk a little bit more about maintaining and aligning across multiple departments when you have new products, new features that you're shipping, you wanna make sure that you're aligned within that process. And so it doesn't have to feel like documentation is an afterthought. It's a way that you collaborate with your cross-department stakeholders and you communicate that information with intention. So you have asynchronous communication, you have synchronous communication, maybe you blend it together, but Trainual is the way that it brings it all together. And that's a way that you create alignment across your team and it gets them excited and empowered with the resources that they need in order to be successful to sell their product. All right, so let's recap. Number 1, set clear and achievable role and responsibilities for quick confidence boosters. Number 2, your setup system chaos doesn't have to be chaos, and automate that information so they have access and resources that they need to be successful. And number 3, Don't drown in tedious synchronous training. Build your foundation in Trainual and iterate as you continue to scale. And point number 4, be intentional about your pivots and embrace them. Thank you.
Yes, Sarah. We have had some of the best months ever in Trainual's history in 2024, and it's been a true team effort to bring that to life, but so much of it can be tied back to sales and Sarah's sales team and our ability to hire people effectively, to onboard them, through the work that Tara and others do, and to have this playbook that we can put into place and get them to contribute in such a short period of time. So a lot of nuggets in there. Good job. Last but not least, we have Hannah Clack, who is our product marketing manager and a total linchpin here at Trainual. Who has someone who just knows everything in their organization, is responsible for cascading that information out there? You want to have like that person in your organization who just kind of like knows everything? That is Hannah here, 100%. And she is just a tremendous employee and has a ton of information and knowledge to drop on you. Fun fact about Hannah, she was Employee of the Year in 2023. Of all of Trainual, she was #1 Employee of the Year. And so, I don't know if I can say much more. Come on up, Hannah. Stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Adam. Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah. I'm the product marketing manager here at Trainual. And a big part of what I do is I make sure that both you, our customers, and my team internally stay super informed about all the exciting things that we're doing with our product. And obviously, so far, Tara has talked about onboarding, Sarah talked about training, but I want to make sure we don't forget that Trainual is for so much more than those two things, because it's a very powerful knowledge sharing tool as well. So we're going to talk about how to maintain your Trainual account for that continued team alignment as your business evolves. So let's talk about some of the changes that you might be experiencing. So maybe you're growing, making people changes, seeing market changes, optimizing your processes, or maybe you're not so much making changes as you have that longevity. If any of these resonate with you, then chances are good that you're experiencing two things, and that's responsibility changes and process changes. I've been at Trainual for almost 4 years now, and since I started, we have more than doubled in size. On top of that, one of our core values is no red tape, meaning we're always looking for efficiencies and ways to do things better. So as we experiment, as we try new things, we're really leveling up, and we're keeping our whole team informed every step of the way. We're very intentional about that, because if we didn't, then our team would probably look a little something like this, right? Just not sure of what they're supposed to be doing or how they're supposed to be doing it. So our solution to prevent that is probably not going to be a shocker to you, but we document our operational changes in Trainual. So those shifting responsibilities, evolving processes and policies, and changes to our product and services. So let's dive into each of these, starting with who does what. There are a lot of areas to do this in Trainual, but our favorite way is the delegation planner. And up here, you can see my team's delegation planner board. And I can always reference this board as my one source of truth as our responsibilities shift around. And on top of that, we can see my teammate Ben up here. Let's just say that he's out sick or he's on PTO. I can take over for him because I can see up here all the things he's in charge of, including this responsibility that he's supposed to schedule our newsletter every Wednesday. Let's say that I don't know how to do this. I can click on the process that's attached to that responsibility, learn how to do it, and keep things running smoothly while he's gone. I will mention that every single employee at Trainual has one common responsibility, and that's to keep the content that we own up to date. So bouncing off of that, some food for thought for you is what systems will keep your audits on track. For my team, we rely very heavily on task management systems. So every day I pull up my computer, I have my little checklist of things to do for that day with my deadlines, I'm crossing things off, and it helps me stay organized. So it makes a lot of sense for me to create a quarterly recurring task for myself to remind me to update the content that I own. But for you, this might look different. Maybe you want to integrate a discussion about Trainual into your weekly meetings, or maybe you want to, add an event to your calendar to remind you to do it biannually. Just figure out what works best for you and definitely take some time to put that in place. Okay, now let's talk enablement. Now, when I use the word enablement, I'm talking about how we enable or equip our team to understand and speak to those changes to our core products and services. So for you, maybe you're in healthcare and you're continually adding new machinery to stay cutting edge, or you're updating those patient intake forms. Maybe you're in construction and you're trying to add more surfaces that are more energy efficient. Whatever the case, just think about your core products and services as we go through this. But for us here at Trainual, obviously our core product is Trainual, right? It's our software. And we're very fortunate to have very passionate, engaged customers like all of you who are continually giving us feedback, ideas on how to make Trainual better, and we can continue putting that into our platform. And as we've done that, just as a result, our product releases have really become bigger over time. They've become more frequent. They have a lot more moving pieces. And we found that over time, our team started to feel a bit disconnected with everything going on because admittedly, it's just a lot to keep track of. So we decided to start this new product enablement subject. So every time we add a new big feature to Trainual, we update this subject. You can see this example up here, how we've done that with our new flowchart feature. And we add details like, some video demonstrations. We have talk tracks, value props, some resources, some important dates everybody needs to know. And as I'm building this out, I'm really putting myself in the shoes of the huge customer advocates that I'm so fortunate to work with, because I know that they're going to be asking one question, and that's why, right? Why are we doing it? Why are we doing it this way? Why aren't we doing it this way? So I really do try to, as I'm building this out, think about those questions they're going to be asking. And I guess I will say too that we try to be very transparent in this subject. So we do add things like, how this directly impacts our OKRs and our goals, how we're defining and tracking success, and also those plans that we have for the future. And I'll note that two important things that I do when I'm building out this subject is one, I have templatized this. So every time we have a new update, I duplicate a topic in here, I fill in the blanks, and that makes for very quick and easy updates. The second thing I do is I share this with our everyone group, because remember we're talking about our core product. So everybody in every department needs to know these things. So the everyone group is a great way to make sure that we're creating that culture of empowerment across the board. So some food for thought for you is what's a subject that you could create or improve that would help keep your team aligned as your operations evolve. And when you think of that, definitely add that to your to-do list. I do want to circle back around to sharing, because I know we touched on the everyone group, but I wanted to remind you that you can get very granular with the way that you share in Trainual. And so I'm going to use our voice and style guide as an example. So this is a subject that all of our writers use. So those of us writing ads and newsletters and emails, we follow the guidelines in this subject. So let's talk about who needs this. Marketing, absolutely, right? Other teams, well, maybe not. So what we can do is we can make sure that this is required for our marketing team, a view-only resource for everybody else, and we can even take it a step farther and use public share to share this with those outside of our Trainual account. So people like contractors, freelancers, vendors. We could even share this with customers if we wanted to using public share, and that experience that you see up there is what those that we share it with public share would see. And I wanted to remind everyone too that as long as you continue to maintain your Trainual account, when you're updating that information, your team can always hop in Trainual, ask a question, and the answer populates right at the top of the page. And what's so great about this is that you don't have to set it up, right? You just need to make sure that the information is in your account somewhere for Trainual to surface. And I bring this up because, we're talking about the perfect Trainual account here, right? But at the end of the day, perfect is published. The best way to perfect your Trainual account is to just send it, just hit publish. Just knowing that you can always go back and tweak it later. So I wouldn't worry about redoing your videos a ton of times to make sure that they're, perfect in your eyes, because really just getting that information out there to your team is what's going to help them stay aligned as your operations and your business evolve. Thank you.
Great. Great, thanks so much, Hannah. It's cool. You all might be piecing some of this together. I'm actually thinking back to Chris's presentation at the beginning when he was going through what our product roadmap looks like and some of the stuff that has not yet come out. What goes on behind the scenes is myself and a handful of people from customer experience, Hannah and the product marketing team, and our product managers. We meet every week. And we talk about what's coming out in the next couple of weeks and the next couple of months. And we think about, do we have help center content for that, right? Do we need to put any how-to videos out for that? How are we going to market this? What questions are the CX team going to have, when customers have this? What outlets should they be using for that? And all of that information, as we're talking about it, Hannah then gathers and puts in that subject and releases. So when it comes time to release something, it's not, it pops up in your account that day, but there's so much that's went on behind the hood to make sure that we're ready for that. And then so much information that is disseminated through these subjects to our team to make sure that they are empowered and informed to handle customer inquiries when they come in. So nice connection between what Chris was sharing earlier today, what Hannah was sharing, and some of our process on how we bring those things to life. Okay, well that's it. Some serious knowledge dropped by some seriously great people. So thank you, ladies, so much for all that. I want to open it up now. We'll call it like the non-traditional hand raise. If you're a Trainual employee, can you just raise your hand in the audience? Yeah, all right. So there are a lot of Trainual employees around here, both for this, but afterwards, grab them and ask them. If you need something or been wondering about something, we have Trainual employees here, so hit them up. And do we have microphone runners? Oh, yeah, nice. Arash and who else? Where's Seiji? Oh, yeah, Seiji over there. Yeah, nice. Okay, so we will open it up to the crowd now. Any questions that you would like to ask the panel? Like Chris said, not all at once. I'll get to you. It could be, it doesn't even have to be about the topic today. If you have just general how to maximize, your Trainual account type question. Yeah, one in the back here.
Hello. How do you manage keeping it updated? What's the process? What's the cadence? All that.
Hannah, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can go for this one. So I guess just kind of bouncing off the section where I was talking about the systems that we use to keep it updated. My team relies very heavily on task management systems. So we use Asana, and that's how we create reminders for ourselves to update content. And we like doing it quarterly. Obviously, you can revisit more frequently than that, or if it comes to mind, and if it's just that quick change, I try to jump in Trainual, do it really quickly, let my team know, hey, this is documented now. everything is up to date. But I guess it kind of does depend on how often things are changing in your business. And that's probably what I would base the cadence off. For us, it's often quarterly.
Yeah, and there's a couple things that I think about with the playbook. One of the bigger themes that y'all should be walking away with is building a playbook is a team sport, right? It's not a one person getting stuff done. And teams use different processes, teams use different tools, teams have different cadences. And so there's a piece of it about what makes most sense to your team. The second piece I'll call out without doing too much foreshadowing, in our next session, we're going to be going a little bit deeper, I believe Rach is, on maintaining your playbook and what some of those processes look like as well. So good answer from Hannah there. I think we got a little bit more coming later on as well. Yeah, question up here. I got you next. A little faster, Arish.
So, what at Trainual would you say is y'all consider to be important company information that is not in Trainual? Like, what do you not put into the system? And then I guess a follow-up question to that is that you guys seem like a really super robust organization. You got a crap ton of people working there. That's great. A lot of money. Not all of us have that benefit. And so if you didn't have a whole bunch of people and good funding, would your answer be any different about what you would choose not to include in the system if you're kind of just getting started?
Yeah, I can take the first stab at that. I've thought about that before. I think that and then feel free to pile on with anything else you have. There's two that I tend to think about. What is done by the most people most frequently? And so like if I was on Sarah's team and they were non-exempt employees and needed to clock in and out, I might document that process for how to document in and out, right? That's 10 people every day who are going to be asking you questions. So those things that are done with high cadence by multiple people versus like your accountant closing the books at the end of the month, right? That's one person. It's done less frequently on a monthly basis. That might not get documented. I actually don't know if that's documented in Trainual as well, right? It is. Kelsey, our head of finance and accounting. Sorry for putting you on blast, Kelsey. Whew, just got hot up here. Another really good one to think about documenting are things that you're getting ready to delegate. Right? The thing that's been nagging you that you don't love doing and are ready to get off your plate. Documenting that makes for a real easy transfer. And frankly, one of the things there is just to create a video of yourself doing it or of your computer doing it. I found so many people stall out on how to think about passing something on to the next person. And it is as simple